it's Laura
and Michelle
for Empowered Decision. So what we're going to talk about is value propositions, because it's something that we're doing on a fairly regular basis, particularly with kind of that higher end professional executive level. Can you just explain what you mean by
Yeah, I think the starting point for me very often is that many people get to a point in their career, I always call it that like junction, I think, that they get to where they're looking at it saying, I am so good at what I do now, I have the set of skill sets, so I'm now going to either go to another industry or I'm looking for something else that's going to challenge me. So I need a bit of an unknown. It's like a 80% competence, 20% fear kind of equation, right? And I think what happens is that's the one part of it, or alternatively they look at a really big step up and they're not quite sure how to navigate both of those scenarios. Because what you're having very often in your industry, if you are really good at what you do, there's a reputation, there's people by just talking to each other, they understand what it is that we have as a skill set. And you're known in the space, and you've got referees or people or a network that talk about you. And I think it's quite scary for people to look at those other alternatives, because going out sideways into another industry, you need to work really hard to present what it is that you bring to an organization. Because if you think about it, the question that you're going to get asked is, well, what do you have for us? What have you got? What have you got that we can use? And I think the same thing in stepping up is just that explanation and that fluidity in terms of really nailing what you want people to understand of you.
Right. It's such a different mindset, isn't it? Because generally when you've been working your way up that career ladder or whatever it is, that you've gone to a recruiter, or you've been headhunted, or someone's reached out to you. It's that sort of combination. I think that's much easier at those levels. But once you pop to that top level, it is a question of like, you don't necessarily want to be seen to approach people, but then they don't know and they might not approach you. So it's how do you make that bit work?
And also to not feel awkward. You're not going with that resume in hand going, hey, do you have something for me? Yes, and I think it's just the angle of it. I just think instead of going and saying, can you help me? The angle is the other way around. It's different. It's how can I help your organization and the impact ultimately that I can make in an organization, which I think when people get their heads around it, they love it, because they understand that they've got a 1 or a 2-pager of information that really encapsulates what it is that they've done in their careers.
I think it makes that translation, doesn't it? It's that the person on the other side is able to understand, like, I understand your skill set, but when you crystallize for me, this is what I could do for an organization such as yours, I can then, it makes it easier for me to think about opportunities for you. And I think the other thing is that what we find at that level is often people don't let their network know until after they've secured a new role. So, and then those people say, oh, if I'd known, I would have done that. So it's like, how do you let them know without, and I think this is a really good tool for that. One of the tools is just updating a LinkedIn profile and getting recommendations, because by that, you're very subtly letting your network know that you are, if you're reaching out to them, to look out for opportunities. But I think the value proposition is the other way to do that.
And I also think it helps in an interview process that succinctly you can explain your value again. Because if you look at it all throughout all those examples that we've given, it's about demonstrating that value. And I think in an interview, if you sit down and you understand really how to articulate your leadership expertise and your capability around a particular topic, I think it really helps. So underestimated, and I think when people see it, they absolutely love it, and they go, yep, this is what I need to do. And I think it's really important at that level to be able to put that kind of document together.
Absolutely.